Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into something absolutely wild, the psychology behind how we, humans, interact with artificial intelligence. We're not just geeking out over code here, we're talking about human minds, how we perceive things, and how we're mentally gearing up to share our world with synthetic brains.
So let me ask you a question. How do our brains actually process AI? When you picture an artificial mind, what pops into your head first? Are you a bit freaked out? Or are you totally on board? Our brains have spent thousands of years evolving to deal with other humans. So when we're suddenly face to face with an intelligence that is definitely not human, our psychology has to do some pretty intense mental gymnastics to make sense of the whole shebang.
And honestly, what we're looking at right here captures that perfectly. This is going to be our visual anchor for today's explainer. It's a modern human-AI interaction frozen in time. Over on the left, you've got a regular guy. On the right, this glowing, illuminated AI entity. And right there in the middle, they're meeting. So for the next few minutes, we're going to decode the fascinating psychological story hidden right in this one snapshot. Which brings us to Section 1, the Human-AI Psychological Contract and the Psychology of Trust. If we zero in on the very center of that meeting, we hit what's called the psychological contract. Basically, this is the unspoken set of expectations and beliefs between two parties when they interact. Usually, you see this between a boss and an employee or, in romantic relationships. But here's the crazy part. As AI gets more sophisticated, our human brains literally try to form these invisible agreements with machines. We actually start expecting the AI to show human-like reciprocity, fairness, and understanding. It's wild.
And it all kicks off with how that contract is initiated, the handshake. Psychologically speaking, a handshake is this incredibly universal symbol. It means mutual agreement, trust, and vulnerability. Basically, historically proving, hey, neither of us is holding a weapon. By having the human and the AI shake hands, we're bridging a massive psychological gap. The human is throwing out this deeply biological gesture of trust, and the AI is returning it, signaling to our brains, okay, it's safe to engage here.
Moving right along to Section 2, Anthropomorphism in Tech Design.
Now, obviously, that handshake only works because the AI actually has a hand to shake. Let's look at the contrast between these two. On the left side, we've got the known. The human is wearing dark, casual clothes, just a jacket and jeans. He's totally grounded in physical reality. But on the right side, we have the unknown. The AI has this completely ethereal blue glow. It's illuminated, right? Making it crystal clear that she isn't made of flesh and blood. She is something purely digital that's been pulled into our physical space. But check out what the AI is wearing. She's rocking a casual sweater, pants, and everyday white sneakers. Why? Well, it turns out that humanoid shapes and relatable clothes drastically lower our psychological defenses. If the AI looked like some terrifying metallic robot or just a giant server rack, our fight-or-flight response would probably kick in immediately. By putting this glowing blue entity in a comfy sweater and sneakers, the design literally tricks our brains. It softens that creepy, uncanny valley and makes the unknown feel, well, surprisingly comforting and familiar.
Okay, Section 3, Visualizing the Artificial Mind.
Let's zoom in on the AI's head for a second. It's completely transparent, which gives us these amazing visual cues of an artificial mind at work. You can see these glowing connection nodes, right? And these constellation-like pathways linking everything together. It's literally an illuminated map of cognitive processing. Because right now, this is how we as humans need to visualize AI to wrap our heads around it. We take the abstract metaphor of a network, like the internet or a galaxy of stars, and we compress it down to fit inside a human skull.
And this highlights such a fascinating split in how we see ourselves versus how we see machines. As humans, we process the whole world through these hidden, squishy biological neurons. Our thoughts? Completely invisible. But when it comes to AI, our psychology demands transparency. We want to literally see it thinking through those bright, glowing data nodes. It gives us this visual reassurance that we understand what the machine is doing, even if, at the end of the day, all that processing is just invisible lines of code.
That leads us to Section 4, the future of collaboration. Let's pull back and look at the actual room they're in. It's this shared, super modern space. Kind of looks like a high-end lounge or maybe a fancy corporate lobby, complete with warm lighting, those sleek gray chairs, and super reflective floors. The setting is 100% physical and grounded in our normal everyday reality, but the interaction happening inside it bridges the physical and the digital. By dropping this sci-fi concept into a warm, familiar room, it acts like a psychological anchor for us. It tells our brains, hey, this isn't some dystopian future light years away. This integration, it's happening right now in the very rooms we already live and work in.
So, bringing it all back together, this single moment we've been looking at is just a beautifully unified vision of human-AI collaboration. It really wraps up everything we've been talking about. You've got the psychological contract locked in with a handshake, the anthropomorphic design making our human brains feel safe, and that visual representation of cognitive networks that helps us grasp the artificial mind. I mean, it is an absolute masterclass in the psychology of tech integration.
Which leaves us with a pretty massive question to chew on. When you finally shake hands with the future, who is actually adapting to whom? Are we designing AI so it adapts to our fragile human psychology? Or are we the ones slowly adapting our own minds to accept these glowing artificial entities into our daily lives? Definitely something to think about the next time you boot up an AI. Thanks for hanging out with me for this explainer, and remember to keep questioning the world around you.